All right, welcome everyone. My name is Eric, and welcome to today's information session from Neotech Academy. And before I went on the air, I was asking the folks who had logged in to describe their ideal job, and I was getting answers such as financial freedom, freedom of movement, as it was phrased. And I love those responses because it had the word freedom in it. And I always like to say that's really what this whole thing is about. I think freedom is an inherent human desire. Now, it can mean different things to different people. I've had people who were commuting to and from work, and it took them an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to work, an hour and a half, 2 hours to get back from work. So their idea of freedom was freedom from having to be on this highway every single day, stuck in traffic. It could be freedom to do a particular job, no matter where it is you are in the world, or spend more time with the kids if you have kids, so you don't miss out on those important things. So really, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about freedom. Now, what we're going to do as we get into this, to get more specific, we're going to give you some background on who we are, who Neotech Academy is. We'll give you some information on the IT industry in general, and what really is, in my opinion, our life-changing boot camp. And I say it's life-changing because it really is. It really is a life-changing boot camp. You're going to hear from one of our alumni a little bit later. So you'll get to hear his story. You'll be able to ask some questions. So he'll answer your questions. So all of this is coming up in just a few minutes. So I look at it this way. Hopefully it winds up being true for you. This is going to be action-packed and fun-filled. All right, guys, action-packed and fun-filled today. And just so we're clear, you're not necessarily making any type of financial commitment today. We're just giving you some information. However, we do have a special offer for those of you who would like to, for those of you who do like what you hear and what you see, which we'll get into a little bit later. So we'll talk about how that works, how to get involved with our next boot camp. As a matter of fact, folks, go ahead and write that date down, and we will mention it to you a few times today. September 15th, September 15th. That is the date of our next boot camp, which is going to teach you more in 6 months than it would take you years being in the IT industry. That's why we call it a boot camp. Everything is compressed into this much shorter amount of time. All right, so we'll get to all the important information that you need to know as we move along here, and we'll get to your questions as well. But let's talk about IT first of all. Some of the fastest growing occupations are in IT. For the next generation, if you think about it, everything is going to be tech related. And it seems like it already is, isn't it? Jobs are available in all major cities, but remote is still available as well. Now, a remote job is not necessarily a guarantee. Some companies are asking people to come back into the office and at least like a hybrid type of role. But I'm sure a lot of you have seen videos, for example, if you go to any type of, you know, social media platform, you'll see videos of people who work at, IT companies, and they'll say, hey, come with me to my, day at work here. And a lot of these companies have very nice, elaborate facilities. They have, gym memberships. Some of them even give you free lunches. You got the 401k, you got the bonus structure, all that good stuff. And I always like to say that IT careers really do check a lot of the boxes, if not all of them, for quite a few people. Now, if you think about it, speaking of remote, because that's one of the big things that people are concerned about, does this offer remote potential? And the answer, of course, would be yes. Not a guarantee, but at least that potential. But think about it like this. There are more remote positions, more remote jobs today than there ever have been in our history. And during the height of the pandemic, when parts of the world were shutting down, remember that, 4 years ago? Well, the IT industry thrived because there were already a multitude of these types of jobs available, and COVID only increased those opportunities. Now, let me address a few things right here at the beginning. These are common questions that people have. What if English is not my first language? I would say this. Yes, should you be able to communicate? And the answer is yes, you should be able to communicate in English. Hold on one sec, guys. I thought I had asked that, but I guess I didn't. Here we go. Yeah, can you see my screen now? Sorry about that. But a common question, thank you so much. But a common question that people have is if English is not my first language, is that a problem? And I would say this, yes, you should be able to, communicate in English, but do you have to be necessarily proficient, where your syntax is perfect? Then I would say no. So if English is not your first language, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. What about your background? Well, your background is really inconsequential. It doesn't really matter either. I don't really care what your background is. I don't care if you're currently in the mortgage industry, if you are currently in the medical industry, if you're currently in education, or if you're parking cars or a bartender. None of that really matters. What really matters is, can you do the job? And that's what we're going to teach you to do, which is what this whole thing is about. Your education or lack thereof doesn't matter either. Some people have a 4-year degree, but they don't have a degree in IT. So they have a concern. Well, does this matter if my degree is in something else? No, it doesn't really matter. What if you don't have a degree at all? Again, that doesn't matter either. What matters is, can you do the job that we're going to train you to do? And I'm going to go into more, we're all going to go into more detail. My colleagues are in just a few minutes on what the boot camp entails, how we're going to actually give you experience working on real projects to be able to put that on your resume, on your CV, if you will. Okay. By the way, if you wouldn't mind, and I'll come back to this in a few minutes, type into the chat what industry you're in right now, and why you're looking to potentially make a switch into IT. I'm always curious about that. I mentioned the medical field a moment ago. I noticed we're seeing a lot of people that are nurses going into IT. We're seeing a lot of people in education, they're teachers going into IT. People in the trucking industry. I mean, it's just anecdotally, just what I've been noticing when I asked that question recently. So type into the chat, and I'll come back to that in a few minutes and read what you guys are putting in there. Now, let's start off with software testing, because this is a career path that a lot of people get into initially when they make that transition to IT. And this can be a springboard into other, even more, higher paying type of positions. But what is a software tester? What will you actually be doing as a, quality assurance engineer? So let me ask this question. Let me give you kind of like a high level 30,000 foot view of what a software tester is. How many of you have ever used an application such as TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or Uber, anything like that? You don't even have to answer that question. I already know the answer. The answer is probably yes. Okay. So my point is, if you've used any type of software application, then you know what a good application is. In other words, you try to use it and it works. You're traveling somewhere, or maybe your car breaks down, whatever. So you go into the Uber app and you're able to call an Uber, and it arrives. You try to buy something on an app, it works. That's what you bring to the table. You've used technology. What we're going to do is give you some hands-on expertise, some technical knowledge. You put it all together and you'll learn with our help how to do software testing. Now, a software tester's role is vitally important. Why? Because you are charged with making sure the software functions properly before the customer actually uses it, and to ensure that it's free of any type of defects. Because think about it, when a company wants to launch a product that was all messed up, that was flawed, that was full of bugs, or maybe it just had a minor flaw, but still it's not quite what you wanted as the company itself. So your job as a software tester is to make sure that the developer has essentially done their job. So you are looking for bugs, anything from the proper font, the color of the color scheme being correct. You're making sure that the software doesn't crash. It could be something big like that or something small. Okay. But your job is simply to locate the problem for the software developer. It's not your job to fix the problem, simply to identify the problem. Now you might ask, well, how will I know what problems or what things to look for? But you'll be giving a list that are called requirements. You'll simply, it's like a checklist, and you'll simply locate to see if anything is wrong. But here's the thing, like I was saying a moment ago, it's not your job to fix it, just simply to notify the developer. So just in a big picture sense, from a 30,000 foot view, I'm going to check the chat over here. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that just like a basic understanding of what a software tester does? You're looking for flaws, you're looking for bugs. Make sense? Okay. It's a great way to start, just like it says on your screen here, your IT career. Notice this. Notice what it says here. High-paying job opportunities, potentially 90,000 plus. No IT background required. There are positions at top companies, and there is the potential for working from home, which, as you guys told me a moment ago, that's really what you want. It's like a major thing that you want. So what we did was we created a boot camp, and you'll get to meet one of our founders, and actually two of our founders and lead instructors here in just a few minutes. So they have experience in the industry. They put together this boot camp to teach everybody else how to do this really from scratch. So many software testers are not actually college graduates. Like I said a moment ago, it's not a requirement in many cases. Employers just want to know, can you do the job? So after you go through the boot camp, here are some potential career paths after graduation. You've got quality assurance engineer. You've got software tester, like we were just talking about a moment ago. A test lead, software development engineer and test, or SDET, which is more, on the automation side. So we're going to teach you all of these things. You have to start somewhere. Where do you start? You start with the boot camp. That's on September 15th. You might then segue after you graduate into a software testing job, which is higher paying than most entry-level positions out there. But even from there, you could then go into other paths that could potentially pay you even more money. By the way, the class is offered via Zoom. So don't worry if you're like, you know what, I don't have transportation. How do I get to your location? Well, it's all Zoom. It's all remote. Don't worry about that. You might say, well, I have a conflict certain days, and we'll go through the schedule in just a few minutes. That's okay if you have a conflict and you miss a session. We record all the sessions, so you'll be able to still get caught up and still be able to accomplish your homework and all that good stuff. Course report. What are the biggest outfits out there that actually ranks companies like us, what we do, boot camps? So they rated us as the best. Notice what it says here, the best quality assurance, best QA testing boot camp, software testing boot camp for 2023. We're really proud of that. So again, it's a 6-month accelerated course. It's all online. You get to interact with your instructors as well. It begins September 15. No IT background, as we've said. And this will eventually segue into a career that doesn't require you to be in the industry for many, many years before you start making really good money. Because think about that. There are people who, I have family that are physicians, that are lawyers, and it took them a long time to be making really good money, to be making those 6-figure incomes. It took them years in the industry, years of education first, before they finally started making that money. And the problem is, for a lot of folks, is that they go to school for a long time and then they wind up not even working in that career. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So again, during the boot camp, you'll be exposed to a broad perspective of tools and languages. And again, this might springboard into something else like Scrum Master. I know that sounds like a rugby term, but it's not. You'll learn all about this. ETL tester, API tester. Now, when you look at these terms, a lot of you might be thinking, well, I'm not really familiar with any of that. I don't know what an API tester is, you might say, or I think I kind of have an idea what a cybersecurity analyst might be, but what is an ETL test? You're going to learn all those things. And the way I like to describe this is, think about it like, if you're in high school and you're taking calculus, your first semester of calculus, you might have thought, man, why am I even taking this course? It's really tough. But then by the second semester, the things you were exposed to in the first semester, you pretty much have down by the second semester. Wouldn't you agree? It was just something new at first, but by doing it, you actually were able to get it down. So the way we operate here is we don't just teach you and that's it. Yes, we show you what to do. We teach you the logic behind it, but then we have you actually do it. That's where the projects come into play. And that's really how you'll learn. It's called experiential training. And that's what experiential education, that's what we're a big proponent of. So what I want to do now is introduce you to one of our founders at Neotech Academy. His name is Elian. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself and go into more detail about again, our life-changing boot camp. So Elian, you want to take it away, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so yeah, my name is Elion Limanai, and I'm one of the co-founders of Neotech Academy. I've been working as a software developer for 20 years right now. And together with my partners, we decided to open a bootcamp to help the people learn the coding, learn everything from zero. Like most of our students, I can say all of our students, they didn't have any background when they started the bootcamp, but at the end of the 6 months, they were able to do the things that will help them find a job as a software tester. So I'm going to go a little bit over the flow of the bootcamp and then the tools that we teach and also the schedule. And then after that, I'm going to invite one of our alumni. He was in your shoes a year ago, and now he's working as a software tester, and you can ask your questions directly to him through chat. And I'm going to direct actually those questions to him. Okay. So the flow is like, as I said, like most of our students, they don't know anything about software testing. So we start from teaching them even manual testing, which is the easiest part. Manual testing is when we're testing the software in a manual way by using the mouse and the keyboard to make sure that everything is working fine. So let us say that your company is building a software, and then they want to make sure that the software is working as expected. So they give you a scenario. So if you log in here, if you go to these steps, that is the screen that is supposed to show, and you are doing those steps manually. If something goes wrong, you report it to the team, and then they are responsible. The developer team is responsible for fixing the problem or fixing the bug. And then like that is the easiest part. But of course, even with manual testing, you can work as a manual tester, but salaries are low. Not a lot of job openings are there. So that's why we teach the next part, which is coding, right? So we teach Java programming language in our bootcamp. Java is one of the strongest programming languages. There are a lot of programming languages out there, but we teach Java. We give the foundation right from the basics, and then they learn step by step. Our students learn step by step in the first 3 months. They learn like from Hello World, right, which is the easiest in every programming language, and then they go through if else, loops, and then different data structures, things that they will need when they learn about let's say software testing. After they learn Java, right, which is the first part of the bootcamp, then we switch to automation testing. So we teach there Cucumber, TestNG, so Selenium. Those are different tools, and even though we mentioned them a little bit here, but we spend 2 weeks, 5 weeks, depending on the tool, to teach those tools. So by learning testing, right, you learn how to open the browser using the code. Of course, you can test everything manually, but now we are writing a code so that your code will open the browser. Your code will log into a specific website. The login will make sure that everything is working fine there. And then if something goes wrong, you can take a screenshot and everything. So that is the second part of the bootcamp, which is automation testing. And you learn about how to test the front end, the part that the users see. After this part, after these 3 parts, guys, you can work as manual tester, but also you can work as front-end tester. But of course, we don't stop there, because we want our students to be exposed to as many jobs as possible and to learn, to be even better with the skills so that they know about front-end and they know also about back-end testing. So what is back-end, Maybe you have learned about this terminology, and I don't want you to overload with a lot of information, but just for you to have an idea what it is. And maybe you go to Google and do some research to make sure that, to make sure they understand what you're signing up for. So everything that you do on a software, let us suppose that you're using Facebook, even facebook.com, or Twitter, which now it's X, or Chase Bank, or any application that you are using on the web, on the internet. All those are storing the data somewhere. And that storing the data, that part is called the database. And of course, it's done through the APIs. So backend is the part that the users don't see, the API and the database. So during the last, let's say 6 weeks of the bootcamp, we teach about database testing and API testing. So we start from zero. What is a database? What are tables there? What is everything? And then how to test it. And the same thing for the APIs. So after you learn all these things here, guys, then you can learn as a manual tester, you can learn as a front-end tester, you can learn as a back-end tester. And if you know both of them, front-end and back-end, you also can apply for jobs as full-stack tester, which means you know both of them. So these are the technical things that we need to teach during the boot camp. But of course, once a week, every Wednesday, we have our soft skill classes. During our soft skill classes, we teach the terminology, right? What is testing, right? What are the tools that are used there? What are some, and of course, also there we teach some non-technical tools, let's say, right, that are used. And also what are the meetings, right? What are the strategies that are used and everything there. So also, right, also towards the end of the bootcamp, guys, we also prepare our students for the interviews to make sure that they're ready for the market, how to answer questions, how to go to the interviews, and also how to apply for jobs. We help them prepare their resume, right? So we have a class how to prepare the resume. They prepare the resume on their own, and then we go over the resume to make sure that it will catch the attention of the recruiters. And also, even after we're done with these 6 months of the bootcamp, guys, our students will be applying for a lot of jobs there. And of course, we push them during that process to apply for the jobs. And also, if they have any questions there, if have any problems, or I don't know, any things during the interviews, we have our team which will help with their let's say we call it the career placement team. Those are the team that help them with the interviews and with the job application and the market and everything. So these are the tools that we teach during our bootcamp. Some of them are right. So I mentioned some of them, like Java, which is one of the main parts of our bootcamp, which we'll spend the first 3 months learning Java, right? This thing here, and then we teach about Selenium. Selenium will help us how to open the browser and how to interact with the browser. Then we're going to use TestNG and Cucumber, which are two tools which will make sure that you are creating reports and you are running all these tests, all these scripts, and you are making sure that you are creating a document to submit it to the team. Then we also teach about GitHub. This is a tool which helps you collaborate with a team. And then Postman and Rest Assured are API testing tools. MySQL is database testing tool. And then Maven and Jenkins. So these are the tools. I know that it looks like there are a lot of tools here, but we have done this, right, this program 7 times so far. So let's say if you're joining next group, which will start in a couple of weeks, that is the 8th one. So right, so our students, like they came from zero, and then step by step they learned everything about the software testing career, and then how to be able to go to the interviews and to find a job. So as I said, right, there are a lot of things here, guys, but we go step by step. We make sure that you learn them, and then we continue with the next one. Okay. So let me go right over what we offer in let's say very fast. So as I said, during our bootcamp, of course, we have our classes, and I'm going to talk about the schedule. But of course, during the bootcamp, also we give a couple of projects to our students, how to experience their real environment, how it's working in the field. Also working with other people, how to collaborate with other people, other team members, and to make sure that they are ready, right? They're ready to know those tools and to be ready to go to a team and to be part of that team in the market. We're teaching the latest strategies, tools, whatever are in the market right now. So if you go to a company, guys, which are using other tools, still you are able to find the job, because we have had some cases with our students when they go to the interview and then they ask, what are the programming language that you're learning? We're learning Java. Oh, but in our company, we're using a different programming language, but it's okay. They give you, let's say, a month or 2 for you to learn that tool and to be able to work for the company. So they'll hire you even though you don't know the language that they're using, because as long as you know how to run the tests, how to create the scripts and everything, it doesn't matter in which language you do. You can learn the language pretty quickly, but the strategy and that mentality is difficult to learn. Also, all the classes are online as of right now, right? We're having a Zoom session right now. That's how the classes are. Everything is online. You can join from anywhere in the world, and also everything is recorded and it is shared with you, right? It is shared with you after the class. So all the materials will be there. you're going to join the class. You're going to be able to ask questions to the teacher. There are also going to be assistants there which will help you, right, if you have any technical problems. And after the class, everything is recorded, is shared with you so that you can watch them after the class. Sometimes the student might not be available. They're not able to join the class, but the recording will be there and they'll be able to watch the recording after the class. We have our one-on-one training and mentorship program. So we have our students, which they were our students like 3-5 years ago. Now they are experienced software testers. They are in the field, and we create our groups with the students and the mentors. They meet with them once a week, and they talk about, right, whatever is in the right currently in the industry. As I said, we prepare for the market with resume building, with the mock interviews, right? So that the students are ready for the market. So we have something we call mock interview towards the end of the bootcamp, not towards the end, but after everything is over, we interview our students one by one. One of our instructors or mentors, they interview the student to make sure that they know everything. If they know Java, if they know Selenium, if they know TestNG, Cucumber, database, API, right? All these tools, and to make sure that they're able to answer. If everything is okay, we give some feedback to them, and then they're ready for the market. They prepare the resume and they start applying for the jobs. If they're not ready, then of course we tell them to prepare a little bit more on that specific topic that they're weak, and to be prepared for the next. And then we do another mock interview, and then if they're good, then they're ready for the market. And of course, we have a lot of, right, as I said, a lot of alumni. So sometimes there are job openings in their companies, also with the recruiters and everybody. We try to help our students find the job to make sure that they are successful, right, finding a job and being able to work in the company. And we're gonna explain why later, because also the way that we are charging our students, we split the fee in two parts to make sure that the second part is only after they find the job. And even after so we have had a lot of cases where students, they go to the interviews, they find a job, and then sometimes they get multiple offers. Even in that case, guys, which one is better, right? So sometimes there are like full-time jobs with all the benefits. Sometimes there are contract-based jobs, and then we give information about that one. And then sometimes we suggest our students to pick one of the jobs and to make sure that they maximize their compensation and everything. So this is the schedule of the bootcamp, guys. And as we said, we're going to start off September 15th. That's the first day of the bootcamp. And from there, 6 months until March, you're going to join the classes 5 days a week. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday during the weekdays, guys, from 7 p.m. to 8 to 10 p.m. So 3 hours Tuesday, 3 hours Wednesday, 3 hours on Thursday. So it is 9 hours during the weekdays. All these times here, guys, are Eastern time. So if you are in a different time zone, make sure you do your own calculation. If you are in, let's say, California, then it will be from 4 to 7, right? And during the weekends, guys, we have 2 classes, one on Saturday, 11 to 3, and one on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So 4 hours Saturdays, 4 hours on Sunday. That's a total of 17 hours, guys. So during these classes, you're going to learn step-by-step things from the teacher. If you have any problems, any technical issues, there are also a couple of assistants there which will help you, right, for you to solve the problems during the class. After the class, guys, we give tasks, we give homework. Sometimes we give quizzes and tests to make sure that you are learning, right? So even besides these 17 hours, you're going to, right, to spend some time because depending on the person, some people, they need more time to learn. Some people, they grab it very quickly, depending on the age, depending on a lot of things there, right? Other responsibilities that we have in life. But of course, we have done this one in a way so that even people who are working during the day, they're able to join the bootcamp during the afternoons or during the night, and to make sure that in 6 months, they will be able to learn everything and they'll be ready for the market to find a job. So, as I said, guys, pretty please, if you are thinking of starting the bootcamp, try to create some time. Try to make sure that you're joining these sessions. If you cannot join any of them, it's not a problem. As I said, everything is recorded. You can watch them later. but of course, watch it before the next class, because if you start skipping classes, then it's difficult for you to learn and you can have a lot of gaps and it will be impossible for you to follow. So if you want to change your life, guys, please start, take it seriously, commit yourself, commit your time, and make sure that you're joining and you're going to be able to come to a level at the end of the boot camp. So now I'm going to invite here one of our alumni. Just 1 second. Before you share your camera, just 1 second. Okay. Burak, can you share your camera, please? Oh, perfect. Perfect. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining. So before you start, I'm going to let the prospect students know that they can ask their questions in the chat section of the Zoom. And I'm going to direct all those questions to you to make sure that you are giving your perspective on whatever you did during the boot camp and whatever you're doing so far. And if, I don't know, like if they have any questions for you. So thank you for joining, Burak. And if you can first explain what was your experience, how you liked the boot camp. After that one, how was the job searching process? And then now that you're working as a software tester, maybe give your point of view.
Sure. My name is Burak. Thanks for having me today. I had no experience in IT before starting to Neotech Academy. I had experience in finance and hospitality. And after the boot camp, I started applying for jobs, and like it took me like a couple months to get the offer. And the first offer I got, I was happy with it, so I accepted, and it's almost a year now. And if they have any questions, I'd be more than happy.
For a year. So everybody, please ask your questions to Burak in the chat section. So while they ask their questions, I'm going to ask you general questions that are asked in general.
Sure.
So do you have a bachelor degree or something from another country, maybe?
I have my bachelor from Europe and my master's from here.
Oh, so you did also a master's degree here in the United States?
Yes. Yes.
Is your bachelor or master's related to the IT?
Not at all. Economics.
Economics. And then during when you said when you started the bootcamp, you didn't have any information, any background on the IT, and
Correct.
you learned everything. So how was, let's say, first month of the bootcamp? Was it difficult? Was it stressful?
Not at all. Everything was so smooth, actually. The only thing I can recommend is do not skip classes, or if you do, of course, life happens. And if you do, just try to watch the videos. They are also online after the class, available for you guys. So whenever you miss a class, go ahead and learn it. So those things that you missed, they don't accumulate. And that's what I can recommend at the moment.
So from your end, which one was more difficult, the technical classes or the soft skill classes?
Soft skill.
Soft skill
and
was
they are
difficult for
as
you?
important as the other ones. Yes.
Yeah. So, and then when you're done with the boot camp, now we have a question from Imran. So he says, how long it took for you to find a job after completing the boot camp, and how many places you applied before you were offered the job?
A little over than 2 months. And I applied almost 3,000 jobs. And
so you applied like for you said 2.5 months, let's say, and you're applying, let's say, maybe probably 50 to 100 jobs a day.
A day, yes.
Yeah. By the way, guys, so I even myself, I was confused at the beginning because I'm mostly dealing with technical classes, and there is another team which is helping with job application process. So when they say I'm applying 100 jobs a day, is like it looks too much, but there are a lot of places where you can apply just with one click, and of course there are some places when you can apply by filling the forms and doing a lot of job, but some also there are other ways so that you can apply in LinkedIn or Dice and by the way, which let's say which applications did you use to apply for jobs?
LinkedIn and Dice were my favorite ones, and Neotech also provides the PDF file with all those websites listed in there. So everything is like, I just did what you guys told me. So
And the job you found was listed in LinkedIn or in Dice?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, the job you found, okay.
Yes.
And then you have been working in that job for a year right now?
Yes, in 3 weeks, it's going to be a year.
Okay, and then same job and you didn't sit, and it's a full-time job or it's like a contract based?
It's contract, but it's going to turn to full time.
Okay, and then also, so now that it's contract, you don't have the benefits most probably, but if when it turns to full time, then it will have the benefits and stuff.
Yes. Just I can't use the gym at work,
Oh,
and
but
that's
then you're gonna
the
start
only
using it after
downfall.
it becomes full time. Okay, good.
So it's not a
Uh,
big deal.
Another question: how helpful was the job placement from Neotech Academy?
Like very helpful. They tell you even what time of the day if when you apply, like between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. That's the like when HR people come to the office, your resume will pop up towards to the top. Like these are detailed stuff, but I can tell them like everything is given to you like in those classes, like soft skill classes.
Okay.
You'll learn all about that.
And by the way, just I don't remember which batch were you? You're batch 4?
Yes,
Batch 4.
for
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
So so that's why you're like graduated like a little bit more than a year ago. And then how was your job interview? What were the questions? Of course, let's not go into details, but general, right? What do you remember? What was the question asked from the recruiters?
It was mostly soft skill stuff, and like I don't exactly remember the questions, but I remember it was like I passed the first, and after the second one, I got the offer. And yeah,
So,
it was for me. It was mostly soft skill.
okay, let's ask the question in a way that it will make more sense for them. Was mostly a question asked like, did you have assignments? Did you have tasks? Or did you have mostly like soft skills, just talking about your
Just
previous?
talking,
Hmm?
just talking about the previous experience, and they want to know what kind of a person you are, like your personality, of course, your skill set as well. But like I said, soft skill
And
classes are very important.
And how many interviews did you have during those applications?
I passed like there's phone screening. After phone screening, there's the first interview, and I had first interview from 2 different companies, which I advanced to second one. And for both, I was able to pass to the second. And after the second, I was expecting offer from the other one, but I got from the company that I'm working for now.
Yeah, sometimes, as you said, sometimes when you apply for a job, it depends on whatever their sense is, right? Sometimes they like you, sometimes you think you did very good, but they might not like you, or it can happen the difference. So that's why just keep trying until, right? As we always say, just keep trying until you get an offer. And
Yes.
then, as you said, there were many multiple stages for all the companies, right? So the first phone screen,
Yes.
and then first technical interview, maybe second technical interview with, and sometimes also there's a third one with HR or something like that, depending on the company.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then another question from Melis. I have an MBA degree. Did having master's degree help you while interviewing or getting offers?
That I can't know because like they might say, oh, okay, this guy finished the master. I also have MBA. They can't say like, oh, this guy finished the master, so he's capable of some stuff. Let's hire him. They might have thought so, but they didn't tell anything to me about it. So
Okay, but as far as I know, right, if you tell in your resume that you have a college degree, then sometimes they also want you to, let's say, give you proof, let's say, right? But I also have had a lot of students who come to the after they find a job and then they say that I didn't have any college degree, even though it's rare. Still, nobody cares. They as long as I have the skills. So depending on the company. So yeah, it always depends on the company. Now the question is, how is the working? Oh, are you? Because he says, I don't know. He says you're working remotely, but I don't know. Are you working remotely or working on the site?
Actually, I work on site.
You're on site, and then do you go
Yes.
5 days a week,
Yes.
or it's not a hybrid, right?
No. Actually,
Okay.
it's kind of hybrid, but I can work 1 day a month from home.
Oh yeah, sometimes, but like you
Sometimes,
have to
yeah.
go, to the office. But what about the hours? Do they care? Like you have to be there at 8:00, or are they flexible with the hours?
Now the place I'm working is open 24/7. The only mandatory hours are like I gotta attend the meetings, the stand-up meetings, and like sprint retro or sprint planning meetings. But besides that, I can work whenever I want. I can work on the weekend. I can work at nighttime, daytime. No one cares.
Be
I
careful
just, I don't
because when
mind.
it is like that, you might need to work even more. Do
No,
they
I'm
have like
making
you have
sure
your
I don't
tasks
go
and
over 40.
so do you work more than 40 hours a week?
No, just 40.
40. And of
Mhm.
course you have your test, and as long as you complete your test, doesn't matter what time you do it, right? It's
Yes,
flexible.
and sometimes your tasks are not finished on that week. It can go to the following week. That's also okay.
Okay. And then, yeah, and by the way, I'm just gonna share you a thing. My friend, he was working here in New York City as a software developer, not tester, but developer. And then when COVID hit, he said like we were working from home and it's supposed to be better because he was working remotely. But he said when I was working on site at 5 p.m. when the time is over, like I just close my computer and go home. Nobody asks me. But now that we're working remotely, sometimes even after the hours, they ask, "Did you finish this one?" Or sometimes they want meetings and stuff. Like so, for him, working remotely was more difficult than working on the site. But of course, generally working remotely is good because you don't need to go and you don't need to travel. And then another last part of question from Melis. Is it hard on that field? How do you feel now that you started working? Do you find it difficult or easy or
Actually, I can say it's the first job that I love doing it. So
you love doing?
I I love it. Yeah.
Okay. And are you learning new tools there, or are you using only the tools that you learned during the bootcamp?
We have some internal tools that are not open to public. I'm learning also those, and like with the basic things you provided us, it's easy to learn. It's just like difference of syntax, like little differences. Once you finish the bootcamp and you finish your project in the bootcamp, like you are good to go.
Okay.
There won't be anything difficult.
Perfect. Another question from me is what is the salary range? If you can give a range of salary,
It's 6 digits.
6 digit meaning 100,000 a year, right? More than 100,000 a year. That's what it
Little,
means.
yeah, little over than that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. And because sometimes like yeah, there are like terminology used there, and of course now you are contract based. Probably you don't have maybe sick days and stuff. But when you and do you think that it's sure that you're gonna turn to full time, or you're waiting for it? What do you think?
There's like 6 month extension. The company is not hiring at this quarter. They just want to go to the next quarter, then they can hire as full time. That's the
Okay, perfect. And by the way, working remotely and on site, let me just finish the question from Imran and Melis. They'll have the same question. So depends on the person. Of course, mostly it's better working remotely because you don't need to travel and you're working from home and you have something you can easily go and I don't know, pick your kids from school or send your kids to school, whatever other things you have. But of course, for some people going to job, for example, myself, I prefer a hybrid job when you go to the job for a couple of days and then you don't need to go the other days. So depending on the company and depending on the on everything.
person.
And then yeah. So do you have any other questions for? I think I exhausted all the questions there. But if you have any other questions for Burak, I can direct the questions to him. Any other questions? And then if I can, I mean, while maybe they're asking, just how was let's say the first month? Was it stressful the first month of working, right? Did you have the stress because you're doing for the first time?
First couple days, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't stressed, but it was a little exciting. And
now you feel
like
more
the
confident.
more,
What about now that you've been working a
yes,
year?
definitely, definitely. Like, yeah.
And another thing that generally people ask is, what about how is the environment? Are people helpful there, or are they like, how do you feel in your company?
My company is one of the best places to, as a work environment to work for. It's always in the list. So I guess their HR is amazing. Everybody that I work with, I love working with. So I
And
don't have any
what
silly
domain
little
is your company?
healthcare.
Healthcare. Okay. And then another question, right? Are you using the same software? You already answered it. You said that you're using your
Yes.
other tools.
Yes, but also we're using Jira, which is taught in the bootcamp, and they're using different language, but I know Java from the Neotech, and so I can, when I see the line of code, I still understand what it is.
So what
It's
language
just
are they
little
using?
differences.
What language are they
C,
using?
C sharp and C plus
C
plus.
sharp. By the way, C sharp is 80% Java. It's like they
Yes,
copied
exactly. Yeah.
Java. But
Yeah.
did you tell in the interview that you don't know C sharp, you know Java, and still they hired you?
Yes, yes,
And did they
definitely.
give you time
I
to get used to it?
Oh, that was some like training period. First 3 weeks was for the training, and yeah, I was good
Okay.
with the training. At the end of the training, there was like little kind of test. I passed that, and that's it.
Okay. So if in your company, if you have any other job openings, just let us know, because in a couple of
Sure,
months we're gonna have our students graduate, and then maybe we'll need
definitely.
other openings. So thank you so much for joining, Burak.
Of
It was very
course,
helpful. They're thanking you.
of
And
course, my pleasure.
thank you so much for joining the session.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.
Okay, okay. And Eric, you if you can take over like with the other part of the. Oh, sorry, Ahmed. Sorry. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed. I'm one of the instructors here at Neto Academy, and I'm also working as a software tester. Actually, my official title is Senior Quality Assurance Engineer. This is a great crowd, happy Labor Day weekend, and I was actually a little bit skeptical about having this info session today, Labor Day weekend, and maybe people might be just enjoying this nice weather, but it's so nice to see you all here. So let me share my screen. I'm gonna go over some other parts, and then I'm sure you guys are all waiting for the price and all the fun stuff, right? So as already we talked about, like how you will learn this process, it's going to be the live classes, individual projects. You will get to have office hours, a lot of homeworks, a lot of tasks, coding challenges, which are always fun. You will have a review classes, a group project, and individual projects as well, and a final assessment per Elio mentioned. It's going to be a mock interview, just an interview that you will get, and that's going to be your final assessment, and we're going to decide if you are ready for the job market. So obviously what we teach here is software testing, but our main goal is for you to find a high-paying job. What is a high-paying job? Again, we're talking about six figures. Our average is like 90 to 120K. We've had students that went way above 120Ks. Like we've had, I'm going to show you some offer letters and you get to see it for yourself. But like that's the average. And in order to achieve this, we will be helping you with everything alongside the way. So mock interviews is the first part. We have the resume building. So this field requires a specific rules, and we will make sure that your resume is attracting enough recruiters, enough companies. And once you apply for jobs, they will be actually choosing you over hundreds of applicants. That's really important. We will give you an extensive knowledge on market, on how to apply jobs, when to apply, how to talk with the recruiters, how to talk with HR executives, talent acquisition people, and everything. And throughout the program, you will be having a one-on-one mentoring. So you'll have a mentor who's actively working as a software tester, and they will also get to help you. And even after the program, you will have access to these mentors. Plus, we have a designated placement team. What they do, they work for you. They will be there to answer your questions. no matter what, even after you graduate, even after you find a job. And this team is not only helping you with your questions, but also actively searching for new jobs, searching for new collaboration with companies. As you know, this is going to be our eighth batch, and so far we have graduated close to like thousands students, and now we have like hundreds of students actively in the market. Like they're actually like working, and with the help of it, you will have an access to an alumni network. So this is really important. Obviously, my favorite part is the last bullet point here, salary negotiation. Most of you is not going to only get one offer, you will have multiple offers. Why? Because you will be applying lots of jobs, just like Brock here, he applied like 3,000 jobs, which is not that high. Don't get me wrong, because like, you can apply to 100 jobs a day. And once you get like multiple job offers, we will help you to get the best out of possible offers that you have. So that, that's also an important part that we provide. So this is a glass store. You can do your own research. This actually, I did the research, like I just searched for it, and the salary right now is a little bit higher for software development engineering test, the average. So this is great news for you guys. But this is how it looks. But the real mirror to reflect what the job market is looking like is the offer letters. And I also want you to see what you will be getting if you decide, I mean, I'm not going to say if, when you decide to enroll our program and complete it and get to the job market. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. So this is one of the offers that we have. It's a full-time offer, $100,000, the semi-monthly payment and everything. Let me show you the thumbnail so that you guys can see how many offers we have, like just in this one. This is another one. Let's see the amount, 99,000, not bad. We have another one here, 95,000 annually. We have this one right here, which is 100 and $100,500 per year. We have many, many more of this, obviously, like 115 here. And if you like, there are again lots of offers. You will be also eligible for one of them, hopefully, once you decide to join our program. So here are some companies that our alumni is actively working for, and these are not just that. And you might be part of a big company and name, like a Fortune 500 company, or you might be a part of maybe a smaller scale company. Regardless, you will be enjoying what you do. The job itself is not hard. It's not really taking all of your resources, your time, and also what you get in return is really rewarding. So, and essentially, we will talk more about the pricing and all the bonuses we offer. But overall, this is how the program looks like. So I'm gonna be inviting Eric back, and I just want you to know there will be a Q&A session right after the presentation. So we will be here to answer your questions. Don't feel like we're going on. Like if you put it in the chat, your questions will be answered.
All right. Thanks, Matt. There we go. All right, folks, let me ask you this question. First of all, can you see my screen where it says average cost of IT education? Just to make sure that's popping up here. And while you're very good, thank you. So I want to ask this question. How many of you know someone who got a degree and they aren't even working in that field? I have family that spent tens of thousands of dollars to obtain degrees and they never actually worked in those fields. But check out the average cost of tuition. And some of you probably are already aware of this. In the US, the per cost or the per year cost for a 4-year school is in excess of $36,000. And that's pretty insane if you think about $36,000. And if you go to a private university, it could be even more than that. It could be 50, 60, 70 plus $1,000. So think about this for a second. Now, granted, you could get, potentially a scholarship, you could get a grant, something along those lines, but you're looking at possibly $200,000 spent over the course of 4 years. And, when it's all said and done, and are you even guaranteed a job afterwards in that field? And really the answer is no. We all know that because the universities, nothing against them, the universities themselves, But they're doing their part. They're providing the education that everybody agreed on, but they're not incentivized. That's the key. They're not incentivized to ensure that you get employment after you graduate. So you spend all this time, you spend all this money, you're not even guaranteed you're going to get a job, or you might simply change your mind afterwards. I've seen that happen before. When it comes to boot camps, notice this, the average boot camp cost is in excess of $13,000, which is, again, it's unattainable for a lot of people. So here's what we've done to help people get their new career and really their new life started. We have the tuition broken down into two parts, and I want to walk you through exactly how that works. So we came up with a very creative way to make it attainable for most people. So instead of being responsible for the entire tuition up front, regular tuition $52.49, here's what we've done. We partner up with you. You pay a portion of the tuition, the $52.49, and we divide this up into multiple payments, which I'll show you in just a second. Now, we offer a Labor Day discount, which is $200 off. That deadline is September the 8th. We also write down this promo code. We're also giving you, those of you who are participating today, a webinar discount of an additional $50 off, and that brings the total of $49.99. So $49.99, and then that's divided into 7 monthly installments of $714 per month. Now, I mentioned a moment ago, the average boot camp is how much? It's over $13,000. So what we've done is, here's the part that you're initially responsible for, divided into 7 monthly installments. The balance of this, here's what we do. We help you find a job. We don't guarantee a job, but we help you in that job placement so that once you do land that first job, 85% of your first month's salary would then be paid over the course of 4 monthly installments. Not your entire year's salary or anything like that, not even the entire month. It's 85% of your first month's salary that's divided up into 4 monthly installments. So here's my point. Would you agree that we are incentivized to help you land that first job? And I'm sure you agree that the answer is yes, because this is what you're responsible for initially, divided into 7 monthly installments. We help you land that first job. 85% of your first month's salary is then divided up into 4 monthly installments. So we make it really attainable for most people. They're not paying, $13,000 for their education up front. We make it attainable by being more incremental with it. We also give additional discounts. So when you are referred by a Neotech student or alumni, there's a referral discount. We encourage people to enroll in groups. So if you're part of a group of 2 people, each student gets an extra $150 off. If you enroll in groups of 3, each student gets an extra $200 off. The tuition that I just mentioned to you a moment ago, an extra $200 off. Groups of 4 or more, just simply contact us, and I'll show you how you can do that in just a few minutes. But we encourage people to sign up in groups because you can encourage each other. You can motivate each other. I'm sure you've gotten or had some experience with this maybe in high school, in college, when you have groups getting together to help solve problems. You can motivate each other. It's kind of like going to the gym, with a buddy, helping you to be there and get that extra lift, So what if I change my mind later? There's no deposit. There's no application fee. You don't pay anything until the boot camp actually kicks off. And you can cancel for free, anytime until the boot camp starts on September the 15th. And we offer a money-back guarantee in writing, 100% refund if you decide to leave, no questions asked, anytime until October the 15th. So that's why I like to say that this is completely risk-free. We're doing everything we can to get you involved. We're helping you land that first job, paying for it over time, and then if you decide, hey, I don't even want to do this anymore, I changed my mind, I don't want to go into IT, 100% refund if you decide to leave anytime until October the 15th. So you can learn more about the bootcamp simply by going to neotechacademy.com. neotech.live/bootcamp. You can book a call with our admissions team, neotech.live/call. If you're not ready to call, you can submit your interest to neotechacademy.com/apply. But certainly secure your spot now. I look at it this way: it's human nature to procrastinate. I have a friend, I always like to say this, who's been telling me for years he's going to read War and Peace. He got the book, from it was like some trust sale or something like that. And I asked him a while back, by the way, did you ever read War and Peace? I remember we were talking about that for years. He goes, yeah, I think I'm still on chapter 1, or so we put off things because we always think there's enough time. Well, we have enough time to do things until we don't. That's really how we have to look at that. So email us. You see the email address up there for any questions. Schedule a phone call, or you can just call us directly if that works better for you. But let's run through why join Neotech Academy. Let's compare what we do to being self-taught, going to university, or taking online courses. Okay, we won't go through all of these in the interest of time, but we'll go through a few of these. So time. Okay, so if you're self-taught, well, yes, exactly. Who knows how long it's going to take you to do things? Will it take you 5 years, 10 years to learn these things on your own? And by the time you do all these things on your own, you're self-taught, well, the market may have changed, technology may have changed. So what you learn might be completely out of date. University, 4 years or more. Online courses are self-paced. With us, it's 6 months. Think about this. 6 months, as I was saying at the outset, to learn what it takes a lot of people years to do. So you've got this compressed period of time where you're learning things that people are going to be on the job potentially for 2, 3, 4 years. You're learning in 6 months. Self-taught, you're learning by yourself. So you're claiming that you are, in fact, the expert. Are you really the expert, though, if you're teaching yourself? You don't really know what you're talking about. You don't really know what you're doing yet. You're not really the expert, are you? It's like trying to teach yourself brain surgery. Neotech Academy, hands-on, live, real teachers, guys who are actually doing this in the real world. University is usually not very interactive. A lot of times the classes are too big anyway. Online courses are unsupervised. Neotech Academy, again, we have industry expert trainers. University level, well, you might have someone who has experience teaching you at a university. I remember when I took business courses at university that I had professors who had never started a business, so they were more theoretical, if anything. We offer career services, not really offered as much in the other choices here. University level, potentially, depends on the university. I mean, you could certainly make an argument that with the alumni network, there would be a chance for some career services, but not nearly as extensive as what we're offering. Learning content, self-taught, of course, is up to you. University, as I was saying, too theoretical, market-driven. So we stay on top of things. Our boot camp today might look different in 15 years or 10 years. So we stay up on industry trends to keep you up to date. And we offer one-on-one mentorship, nearly 24/7 technical support, and we offer a very extensive learning community. So why Neotech Academy? It boils down to this is all we do. We have hundreds of graduates. You heard from one of our graduates earlier, Barek. Here's how I look. I like to joke that we're not Neotech Academy, for IT and bartending school and truck driving school or whatever. This is all we do. All we do is train people to learn in a very short amount of time, again, how to do things that would take years to learn on the job in the IT industry. So we teach you how to do these projects. We teach you how to accomplish IT through various projects. You can put this on your resume. We'll help you with job placement, do everything we can to help you land that first job. So folks, we're going to get to all your questions. I know we had some questions during our interview there with our alumni, and I'll bring Elian and the Met back on here. And any questions you guys have, just simply fire away for us.
Thank you, Eric. That was really, really good. And I actually want to add up one thing to why Neotech Academy part. So here, as Eric mentioned, like we are specializing on software testing. We have many staff member who's actively working and like had enough experience to teach these. And one thing that I also want to mention that all of our classes are being live, and like what we do, obviously we want you to find that job in, as you can understand from even our pricing strategy, that it's a win-win situation. So if you find a job, it's also a win for us. So that can actually make you relax that, you know, we're gonna be working for you. Obviously, this is a two-sided road. You have to put in the work, you have to attend the classes, all the sessions that we mentioned. But yeah, I wanted to put that as well.
Okay, guys. So if you have any questions, please ask your questions, and then we're gonna go over them.
I'm seeing one. I can take that. Robertson asked about if we have an internship. So we don't have an internship, but what we do, we have 3 different projects. That is real projects that you go through with as a team, and you will be responsible as a QA engineer, as a software tester to test that application, and that would also be counted. Not like directly internship, but that is a big project that you will be included on.
Okay, any other questions? So while other people ask if they have any other questions, Eric, if you want, I can start sharing. Generally, they have a question about the pricing. I just want to go over the pricing one more time. So let me just start sharing. And then, okay, so pricing is very important to understand. Let me move this one to the other side. So there is a $200 discount, right, as of right now until September 8th for a week. Also $50 off if you use this code. So the price goes down to $4,999. So this is during the 6 months of the boot camp, right? And then you can pay this one with installments, interest-free. So you don't pay any extra interest. So if you divide this on by 7, then it will be $714 monthly for the bootcamp during that part. But as Eric mentioned, I just want to emphasize this one more time. So we want to split the price. We want to split the responsibility and share the responsibility between you and us, guys. So we don't charge the second part if you don't find the job. Only after you find the job, everything is settled down, then we ask you for 85% of the first month's salary. So let's suppose that you make $100,000 a year, which will make around $8,000 a month, and 85% of that one, it will be, let's say, 7,500, something like that. So we do the calculations, and you pay that one like again with installments. So even that one, right, we don't come to you and then say, you know what, pay first month, and then you have to take care of your family. But of course, even that one can be paid in installments, so that, right, so that this fee is split between you and us. The purpose that we do this one is, of course, we don't want you to pay a lot upfront because it's too much. But the other thing is also, and it's easier for you to pay a little bit at the beginning and then the second part after you find a job. But also by doing this way, we make sure that we're pushing ourselves, trying to help you find a job. Like even like as we mentioned, right, even after the bootcamp is over, we are constantly talking to the students to make sure they're applying too much. Sometimes they're lazy, they don't want to apply. We make some sessions even after the bootcamp to make sure that they are applying for the jobs. They're making sure that they are on top of it until they find the job. So that is right. That is about the payment. But of course, guys, this is the price. But also there are other discounts that you can let's say use. Another one is if you have a Neotech alumni, a friend of yours, which suggested you, please make sure you mention that one so that you can get the referral discount, right? From the let's say if you're referred by a student. Also, if you're in group with 2 students, 3 people, if you're together, then also we do another discount to each of you. If you're 2 people, each of you get an extra $150 discount, and those discounts are from this tuition fee. Okay, this from tuition fee, it will go even more down if you have friends there joining together and stuff like that, to make sure that you're getting all the benefits possible. Okay, so it looks like there are no more questions. Like the presentation was done. Still, guys, if you have any other questions, right? Another thing is, which again, right, you have to make sure is that even if you are right? Even if you're joining the bootcamp, you will have 1 month. Like even you pay the first month, the first fee on September 15th, you have 1 month, right? You have 1 month time for you to see if you like it, if you can do it, if it's for yourself or not. If you like it, then you continue with the second payment. If not, we announce in class, and then if there are a couple of students who drop off, we refund the first payment, and then we continue with those that are really interested. Another question from Robertson is, do QA testing require a lot of coding? QA testing requires coding, and as we said, we start from zero. We teach that part of the coding that is necessary for the software. But so QA testing is not the same as software developer. Software developer, they need to need even more coding, but we are teaching only that part that is necessary for you. There are a lot of people who learn QA testing. They work as a tester for a couple of years, and after that, they want to switch. They want to learn even more. They can switch to software developer, which will need even more coding. But this is the first step, which is possible to be done in 6 months, okay? Okay, guys. And again, if you have extra questions, you can definitely schedule a call. Just go to this link, give a call to our admission specialist, make sure that you are asking about all the discounts and everything, and then decide about if you want to do it or not, okay? Anything you want to add, Ahmed?
No, that was amazing, guys. I mean, we have the 30-day refund policy, I mean, I already mentioned, and this is a Labor Day weekend. We have a special for this. I'm just wishing everyone a wonderful weekend and looking forward to seeing you in our classes.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.